You know exactly what I am about to say before I say it, because some part of you has always known it. You have just spent a considerable amount of energy making sure that part stays quiet. You are not living the life you are capable of living, not even close. And the worst part, the part that will keep you up tonight, is not that you do not know what that life looks like. You do. You can see it in flashes, late at night, in the gap between who you present to the world and who you are when no one is watching. You know exactly what you are capable of, and you have been quietly, methodically choosing not to do it every single day for years. This video is not going to make you feel better about that. It is going to make you unable to keep pretending you do not see it. Before we go further, I need to plant 6 questions in your mind. Your brain is going to spend the rest of this video trying to answer them. 1. The comfortable lie you are living inside right now, and the specific moment you chose it over the truth. 2. The science of self-deception, why your brain is actively protecting you from the version of yourself you could become. 3. The obituary test, the single most devastating question you will ever ask yourself, and why most people never survive it honestly. 4. The identity death, why becoming who you are capable of becoming requires killing who you have been, and why that is terrifying by design. 5. The 2 wolves, not the inspirational version, the honest version, the one that explains why you keep feeding the wrong one even when you know better. 6. The last door, what is on the other side of the person you have been too comfortable to become, and what it costs you to keep refusing to walk through it. 6 questions, 15 minutes. Let us begin. Comfort is not the enemy of ambition. Comfort is more dangerous than that. Comfort is the thing that makes the absence of ambition feel reasonable. Here is how the prison is built. It does not happen all at once. It happens in increments so small they are individually invisible. You take the safer job instead of the one that terrified you. You stay in the city you know instead of the one that called to you. You do not start the thing because the timing is not right, and the timing is never quite right. And the years pass in the specific quiet way that years pass when you are comfortable enough to mistake stillness for stability. And then one day, and this day always comes, you look up and realize that the life you are living is not the life you chose. It is the life you drifted into, decision by small decision, each one reasonable on its own, catastrophic in aggregate. Viktor Frankl survived 3 years in Nazi concentration camps, including Auschwitz. He lost his wife, his parents, his brother, and the manuscript he considered his life's work. In that destruction, he discovered something that became the foundation of his landmark book, Man's Search for Meaning. The last of human freedoms is the ability to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. He found that the people who survived were not the strongest or the healthiest. They were the ones who maintained a reason to live, a purpose, a why, a future self they were living toward rather than a present self they were protecting. The people who died first were often the ones who had decided quietly, without ceremony, that there was nothing left to wait for. Comfort is the decision that there is nothing left to wait for, disguised as contentment. Frankl called the absence of meaning the existential vacuum. He found it not in concentration camps. He found it in the prosperous, peaceful, comfortable Western societies he lectured in after the war. Boredom and depression and quiet desperation in people who had everything except a reason to be alive that was bigger than their comfort. Think of the last significant decision you made about your life, your career, your location, your relationships, your creative output. Now, ask yourself honestly, was that a decision? Or was it the path of least resistance that you retroactively called a decision to feel better about taking it? The comfortable lie is not a single dramatic falsehood. It is the accumulated weight of 1,000 small retreats that you have been calling choices. Now the science of self-deception. Here is the part that should genuinely disturb you. Your brain is not passively allowing you to stay small. It is actively helping you do it. Psychologist Leon Festinger identified one of the most important mechanisms in human psychology in 1957, cognitive dissonance. The mind cannot comfortably hold two conflicting beliefs simultaneously. For example, I am a capable person, and I am not doing anything meaningful with my capability. The discomfort of holding both is genuinely painful at a neurological level, so the brain resolves it, not by closing the gap between who you are and who you could be. By convincing you the gap does not exist, it builds narratives, justifications, elaborate internally consistent stories about why this is fine, why now is not the right time, why you are actually doing the thing in a different way, why the people who did the thing had advantages you do not. Your brain is a world-class novelist, and it has been writing a story in which your inaction is reasonable for every year of your adult life. Daniel Kahneman's Nobel Prize-winning research found that the human brain treats threats to self-image with the same neurological urgency as threats to physical survival. A challenge to your belief that you are a capable, significant person activates the same stress response as a car swerving into your lane. This means that every time you approach the edge of what you are capable of, every time you contemplate the version of yourself that requires real risk, real exposure, real potential for failure, your brain fires a genuine alarm, not a metaphorical alarm, a physiological one. Cortisol, elevated heart rate, the urge to retreat. And retreat feels like wisdom. It feels like self-awareness. It feels like knowing your limits. It is a panic response dressed in the language of maturity. What is the story your brain has been telling you about why you have not done the thing? Write it down, all of it. The timing, the resources, the circumstances. The people who had advantages, you did not. Now ask yourself, if a stranger read that story, would they believe it was the truth, or would they recognize it as a very sophisticated explanation for staying still? The sophistication of the justification is proportional to the size of the gap it is designed to hide. The more elaborate your reasons, the larger the thing you are not doing. Now, the obituary test. Bronnie Ware was a palliative care nurse in Australia. She spent years sitting with people in the last weeks of their lives. She listened to what they said, she recorded it, and she published her findings in a book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. Number 1, more common than any other, expressed by more dying people than any other regret, was this: I wish I had had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Not I wish I had worked harder. Not I wish I had been more successful. Not I wish I had made more money. I wish I had had the courage. These were people at the end, with no reason left to perform, no one to impress, no story left to maintain. And the thing they said over and over and over was that they had known. They had always known what their real life looked like, and they had chosen something easier instead, and they had reached the end with the knowledge of exactly what that choice cost them. The obituary test is this: write the obituary of the version of you that chose comfort. Then write the obituary of the version of you that did not. Read both. Notice which one you are currently writing. If you died tomorrow, what would your obituary say about what you were building? Not what you were planning to build, not what you intended to do, what you were actually, measurably, visibly building in the time you had. 76% of people who have faced the end reported this exact discomfort. From the other side, with no time left to do anything about it, you still have time. That is the only difference between you and them that matters right now. Now, the identity death. Here is the part nobody says out loud. Becoming who you are capable of being is not addition. It is not building on top of who you currently are. It is the death of who you currently are. Carl Jung called this process individuation, the lifelong project of becoming a fully realized self. His insight: the greatest obstacle to individuation is not external circumstance. It is the attachment to a previous self that must be relinquished to make room for the real one. The person who currently wakes up late, avoids the difficult work, consumes instead of creates, performs instead of being, that person has an identity, a comfortable, coherent, internally consistent identity. And that identity will fight using every neurological resource available to survive, because your current self experiences your future self as a threat, not a reward, a threat. James Clear in Atomic Habits makes this precise. Every behavior change that does not reach the level of identity change will eventually fail. You cannot act like a writer while believing you are not one. You cannot act like a leader while believing you are not one. The behavior follows the identity, and the identity must change before the behavior can. But here is the part most people do not say. The old identity does not step aside graciously. It fights, it rationalizes, it reconstructs. It convinces you that the new identity is arrogance or delusion or naivety. It uses your own voice to make its case. Every voice inside you that has ever said, "Who are you to think you could do that?" that is not wisdom. That is the old self defending its territory with the only weapon it has, your own doubt. What identity are you currently protecting? Not the identity you want, the one you actually have. The one built from what you do every day, not what you intend to do. If someone watched your last 7 days without hearing a word you said, what kind of person would they conclude you are? That conclusion is your current identity. And your future self requires that identity to end. That is not a metaphor. That is the actual cost of the actual thing. Now, the honest version of the two wolves. You know the parable. Two wolves fighting inside you. One representing your light, one your darkness. The elders answer, the one you feed wins. Beautiful. Shared 1,000,000 times, printed on coffee mugs, and almost entirely useless as stated because it skips the only part that actually matters. Why do you keep feeding the wrong one when you know better? You know you should do the work. You know you should stop consuming and start creating. You know you should have the conversation, make the call, start the thing. You know all of this. You have known it in some cases for years, and you keep feeding the other wolf anyway. Fyodor Dostoevsky, in Notes from Underground, created a character who is extraordinary in his self-awareness and paralyzed by it. He knows everything that is wrong with him. He can analyze his own failures with surgical precision, and this knowledge, far from freeing him, becomes the reason he cannot act. Because acting requires a kind of innocent forward motion that self-consciousness destroys. The people who understand their problems most articulately are often the people least likely to solve them. Understanding becomes a substitute for doing. Insight replaces action. The analysis itself becomes a form of the inaction it was supposed to address. You keep feeding the wrong wolf because feeding the wrong wolf is easier than confronting the gap between what you know and what you do. The wrong wolf is not your darkness. The wrong wolf is your comfort. And comfort, once fed, demands to be fed again at increasing frequency for decreasing returns until the hunger for your real life becomes a whisper you can barely hear. What did you do with the last hour before you watched this video? The answer to that question, honest, specific, without justification, tells you which wolf you are currently feeding. Not which wolf you intend to feed, which wolf you are actually feeding. There is no judgment in this question, only information. And information, unlike inspiration, does not expire. You can feel inspired for 4 minutes and then go back to everything as it was. You cannot unknow what you do with your actual hours. That knowledge stays. Now the last door. I want to be honest with you about something that motivational content almost never says. You may not make it. Not because you are not capable, but because the window is not infinite. The years that pass while you are deciding whether to begin are years that do not come back. The person you could have built with a decade of deliberate work cannot be built in a weekend of sudden motivation. The compounding of consistent effort across time is not available to you if you spend that time in comfortable preparation to eventually begin. The door you are refusing to open is not going to be there forever. This is not a threat. It is the only genuinely motivating truth in this entire video. Because every other argument I have made, the science, the research, the philosophy, the regret data, can be processed intellectually and filed away. But the fact that your time is finite and that you are spending it right now is not intellectual. It is physical. It is happening to you while you decide. What is on the other side of the door? Not happiness, not peace, not arrival. The ongoing, difficult, occasionally devastating, deeply alive experience of being someone who is actually trying to do the thing they are capable of doing. That is all. It is not better in the way comfort is better. It is better in the way that being alive is better than being comfortable. The door does not lead to ease. It leads to meaning. And meaning, as Frankl proved in conditions that should have made it impossible, is the only thing the human spirit cannot survive without indefinitely. You have spent this video thinking about the cost of doing the thing, the risk, the exposure, the potential failure, the identity death. Now spend 30 seconds thinking about the other cost. The cost of not doing it. Not in 5 years, not at 80, tomorrow. What does tomorrow look like if nothing changes? Next year? 5 years from now, having had every opportunity to begin and having chosen each time to wait just a little longer. That is not a hypothetical. That is the trajectory you are currently on, and it is changeable, but only if you change it. The person from the beginning of this video, the one at the desk, the one who knew and did not move, is still there. And they are watching this right now, which means they have not entirely stopped listening to the part of themselves that knows, which means the door is still open. I am not going to tell you that you can do it. You already know you can do it. That knowledge is not the problem. I am going to tell you something different. The version of you that does the thing is not waiting for the right moment. It is not waiting for permission. It is not waiting for the fear to pass. It is waiting for you to decide that the fear is no longer a valid reason to stay still. That decision is available to you right now, not tomorrow, not after you feel more ready, right now, in the next 5 minutes, in the next action you take after this video ends. The question is not whether you are capable. The question is whether you are done waiting. 6 things you do now. 1. Write the obituary tonight. 2 versions. The one you are currently writing with your actual daily behavior, and the one you want written. Read both. The gap is not inspiration. It is information. Act on the information. 2. Name the justification out loud. Say the reason you have not started the thing. Hear yourself say it. The justification that survives being spoken out loud is a real obstacle. The one that collapses when you hear it is a comfortable lie. You now know which one yours is. 3. Apply the 80-year test right now. Project yourself to 80. Look back at this moment. Will you regret having tried and failed? Or will you regret not having tried at all? The question costs nothing. The answer changes everything. 4. Kill one old behavior this week, not add a new one. Kill one old one. The specific behavior that is most clearly an expression of the identity you are leaving behind. Individuation does not begin with addition. It begins with the willingness to shed what you have outgrown. 5. Do the thing in the next 60 minutes, not the whole thing. The first physical action of the thing, small enough to be undeniable, real enough to matter. The resistance you feel right now is the old self defending its territory. That resistance is not wisdom, it is a reflex. Move through it. 6. Read Frankl this month, Man's Search for Meaning. A man who survived Auschwitz by maintaining purpose in conditions that eliminated everything else. If he could find meaning there, you can find it here. Read it before you tell yourself your circumstances are too difficult to begin. I am not going to tell you that you are amazing. I am not going to tell you that you have what it takes. You know all of that already. The problem was never knowledge. I am going to tell you something that most motivational content is too afraid to say. If you watch this video and nothing changes, you will watch another one like it in 6 months, and another one after that, and you will keep collecting the feeling of being about to change while expertly avoiding the actual change. And that collection, that library of almost beginnings, is its own kind of life. It is just not the one you told yourself you were building. There are 3 people who watched this video. The first person felt it deeply, saved it, shared it, and went back to everything exactly as it was. The content consumed them instead of them consuming it. The second person felt genuinely disturbed. They will think about the obituary test for days. They will bring it up in conversation. And then the ordinary friction of life will fill the space. The discomfort briefly cleared, and the comfortable lie will quietly resume its operation. The third person, and this is a small group, and it has always been a small group, and it will always be a small group, does the specific next action before this video ends. Not because they feel ready, because they finally understand that ready is not a feeling, it is a decision. Share this with the person in your life who needs to hear it and will be annoyed that they do. Because annoyance is what truth feels like when comfort has been mistaken for identity for too long. Now close this video and go do the thing.